What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and today we are going to talk about Sistas, season 4, episode 14. Money is king. All right, listen, y'all, free Fatima, because we ain't about to play these games, and you better not lock Zach up. Let's get into it, shall we? Y'all, first of all, I need to apologize because I done had the notes for this since Wednesday and I forgot I ain't even do the damn review. So here we go. So the episode starts off with us finally finding out and confirming that Karen is pregnant and it is Aaron's baby. Okay. She want to drag it out and Aaron comes in a room and she tells him, well, the doctor said that it could be you or Zach's. First of all, ma'am, you know good and goddamn well that this is not Zach's baby. Okay. You want it to be Zach's baby so freaking bad. Here's my Karen about to get on my damn nerves. Here's my thing with her. You don't like Zach apparently, but you're in love with him. You don't want to be you want to be with him. You just don't want nobody else to have him. That's what it's all about. But you keep putting the man down and treating him like shit. So I just don't understand this whole storyline here, this crazy black woman shit. I'm over it and I need it to stop right the fuck now. Like I am so over Karen and her minutia, and she is the epitome of breaking down a good man. Like Aaron, I just want him to stop. I just want you to stop being nice to her. I want you to move on. I understand loving people and loving, and if loving them is wrong, you don't want to be right. But Aaron, this is wrong. This is all the way wrong. It ain't right. She's crazy as hell. Leave her alone. So he's like, well, there's got to be ways for us to figure out whether, who's the father. She was like, I don't think that's possible. Bitch, okay. Karen, Karen, we know you're not dumb. Delusional, crazy, and deranged, but dumb you're not. You can get a blood test to figure out who that baby is, who that baby's daddy is, ma'am. Okay. And if you want him to go ahead and pull the doctor back in here, we can go ahead and have her confirm that. Tyler, I know you're not a woman, so you probably don't know this, but you're very smart. You know that you can get a blood test to figure out who your baby daddy is. Okay. They can do that now. Really. So let's not drag this out. I don't want to be in Sister season 6 not knowing who the daddy is. This is too much. It's team too much. Okay. So moving on, Karen is like, I need time to think about it. It's a lot going on. I just need you to leave me the hell alone, basically, and let me go on about my life. Then she says, I'm going to catch an Uber home. He says, I'm not letting you catch a car service home. She says, okay, just don't talk to me. So they going back and forth having needless conversation. So he ends up taking her back to the salon, child. And I'm like, oh my God. So they end up riding back together. So then Rodeo calls Danny, which I don't know why I just called him Rodeo. That man's name is Preston. He calls Danny to ask her to leave his things that he left at her house out in front of the door. And he asked her to do it when basically he ain't going to see her. So he wanted her to leave it when her ass was going to work so that they don't cross paths. Which, sir, you definitely want to see her. So stop it. Okay. You're doing the most. And you're sitting over here listening to Zach and his foolishness. You need to go ahead and have a talk with sis and stop playing around. But then also he did try to talk to her and she just wasn't listening. She was being a typical bird and acting like he wasn't listening to her and he don't understand her and all this shit, when ultimately Danny don't understand her damn self because she wants him to continue to chase after her, even though you just told him that you don't want him and that he don't understand you enough. I'm like, how do you know that this man don't understand you when you don't tell him shit about yourself? You think he's supposed to guess? How do you think he's telling you about himself? That's why he talks about cows and all that stuff. That's the stuff that he likes. You're not telling him shit about yourself. All you've done ever since you met Preston was tell him to pay for shit, cook you dinner, he paid your rent up for a couple of months. We don't even talk about that. So it seemed like you wanted financial stability. So he provided that. He's listening to whatever you're telling him and acting upon your actions. but she's not doing anything or acting in a manner that's going to communicate her emotional needs to him. So honestly, this is another situation where it's a dead situation. Tyler Perry has this thing where he needs to, and we're going to talk about this with the Q character too. He has characters that he's holding on to. And I think that he needs to get that power state of mind with good old 50 Cent and go on and kill off people or get rid of people like he did with Jacoby. Jacoby's character ran its course. So you got rid of Jacoby. You got to start letting these people go, because as they don't fit in the storyline, continuing to try to write them into the story where it doesn't fit is silly. So if you're not going to have the relationship progress with Danny, Preston need to go. If it's not going to progress with the police officer at the daggone airport, he need to get the hell on. And with the stripper dude, he need to get the hell on too. Develop her character in a relationship, in a healthy relationship, or someone that's going to be consistent. We don't need, or let's see her dating all of them, and whatever the case may be. But develop these characters, because adding all these people that really don't make any sense is just really starting to make it annoying. Okay. So moving on, they setting up a time for her to go on, him to come on and get his stuff, child. So then she calls Sabrina and gets Zach's address because she wants to go over there and talk to him, because she has suspicions that he's the culprit behind this new and improved Preston, where he going out on dates with black women and trying to make her jealous. Okay. So at first Sabrina was reluctant. She's like, I can't give you the address. So then Danny brings up, oh well, what about Lil Mo and all the things I did for you and lying to your parents? So I guess that was the straw that broke the camel's back. So she went on and told her the damn address. So moving on, Fatima steps in the room with Andy and says, "Hey, I just got my hair done. What's up?" Girl, you are in jail, sis. And you playing. Okay. We got to be doing what we got to do to get the hell up on out of here. So Andy tells her, "Listen, I talked to the judge and she's not budging. The only thing that I can do is try to get another, to get another judge on there, is to, I don't know what the hell she said. Hold on, y'all. Let me go back to my notes because I thought I was about to remember it and I did not." Okay. Andy said, oh no, so Fatima says that she should have killed Hayden, and Andy says, "You can't say that to me. Even though I'm your lawyer, you can't say that." So Fatima says she only slept with him once, and she took one look at his little dick and said, "Damn, I hope I don't fall asleep." I was like, girl, not fall asleep on his dick, child. What the hell is going on? So then she begs Andy not to tell Zach because he's like her, and she doesn't want him going to jail because he's on probation. And Andy says she wouldn't tell Zach if she doesn't want her to tell him. So Fatima says he just got arrested, but she can't tell her what he got arrested for because she's too close to Karen. So Andy says her last option to get her out is Robin. And if she can't get that to work, she has to file a motion to get the judge removed. So, but judges stick together, so that's probably not going to be a viable option. Girl, tell Robin, because last season he said he wanted to get rid of Hayden's ass anyway. So I can see that being your top tier option. And you done gave him the booty, the mouth, and the ears, child. Go on and get rid of this man. Moving on. Aaron drops Karen off at the salon. And I'm just like, sis, if you really didn't want to talk to this man, you should have been jumping out of that car as it was moving. You want to have these awkward ass conversations with him. So they go back and forth about not wanting to have the conversation, and they end up having a conversation. And she says, "I'll reach out to you when I want to talk." And he says, "I'm here for you." Whatever. Moving on. I'm so tired of it. So she goes inside and she's talking cash money shit to Pam. And Pam, as she's walking away, as Karen is walking away, says, "I'm so tired of this shit." And Karen comes back like she getting nuck if you buck, talking about something. What you say? If I was Pam, I would have to knock her bony ass out, because what you're not about to do, I get it. This is my job. I'm a receptionist here and I'm here to get paid. But what you're not about to do is talk to me like that, because I will knock your punk ass out and put one of these wigs up in here and color it for your ass, okay, on your head while you are knocked out on this floor. Don't play with me today. Please don't play with me. I'm so sick and tired of how Karen talks to Pam. I don't know what to do. Pam ass is messy, but ma'am, don't do friend like that. That's a lot. So moving on, Gary calls Hayden to see if Robin was back, and Hayden says he isn't. So at this point, Hayden has no idea what position Robin is in. He still thinks that he's some lawyer from London that they're just kind of collaborating with on some case. So him he doesn't understand why Gary keeps on asking about him. So both of them are still kind of in the dark about both of their bullshit. But Gary did reveal in a roundabout way that Andy was messing with that good old Robin. Okay. So he says, "Oh, so they hooking up." Then he tells Gary he got Fatima locked up, and he's waiting on Zach's ass, talking about he wants, he knows Zach gonna come up there and start some shit, and he waiting on it because he really want to get him locked up too. So then Gary says, so Hayden asks, "Where is Zach?" And Gary says he doesn't know. And Gary asks, "What's up with Zach in the stock market?" I'm sorry. Jake from State Farm comes into the office. Okay. So Gary ends the conversation with Hayden, and he begins talking to Jake from State Farm. So he asks him what's up with Zach and the stock stuff, and Jake reassures him. He's like, he knows his shit. Like, he really does know it. He just got lucky. And Gary says, "Oh, we'll see what the SEC says about that." And Jake says, "I don't know. They're going to look pretty sad and like they wasted their time because he really knows his shit." So Gary is looking puzzled, like, wow, lucky motherfucker. How the hell did he get all this information? Whatever. So he leaves out of his office, and Jake calls Zach and pretty much to try to give him the lowdown on what's going on. After Gary then told Jake about Fatima getting locked up and all this stuff. So he's going to tell Zach about all this stuff. Which I don't know. It seemed like Jake really is a stand-up guy, but I'm just waiting on him to do some bullshit. I hope he really is a nice guy and has Zach's back and he ain't playing the game. But from this episode, I'm kind of leaning towards him being a good friend, and I hope he stays that way. So moving on, Andy Hayden stops Andy as she's walking around the office, and she asks, "What is, why is he doing this to Fatima?" And he said he just wants to make her miserable. And Andy says, "So you're jealous of Zach?" And he says, "Why would I be jealous of an ex-con? First of all, you are jealous of him because you're an idiot and you look like you look. So, and you didn't get the puss for the second time. It was a one and done, and you're really acting crazy over it. My thing is, why are you acting so crazy over some pussy that you got one damn time? This is too much. It's team entirely too much. You take you and your little stick and move the hell on. Go find somebody else. Like, you're doing way too much." So then he also says that he has a meeting with the partners and he will tell them all about the restraining order to get her fired. And Andy says, I'll go in, and if they don't let her stay here, I'm going to quit. I'll walk. And I bring a whole hell of a lot of money to this firm than you do in your big old mouth. Okay? So you need to stop it. You just need to stop and knock it the fuck off. He's like, "Oh, well, I beg to differ because I have a restraining order and she can't be within 50 feet of me." I'm like, "Sir, you're doing a whole lot." Then he says, "We will see. And I heard you were sleeping with the London arm." And Andy says, "Well, if you know that, you better leave me the fuck alone." I was like, "Okay, Andy, you better use that pussy for his pain, okay?" So Danny shows up to Zach's house and questions him about giving Preston advice that is BS. And he says he doesn't know what she's talking about, but if he did give him advice, what's the problem? And she said, "You're teaching him to do the same shit you do to Karen." And he said, "Well, I'm doing really good. I leveled up, got a better woman, got a better house, better life. Maybe I'm teaching him to be like me." And so she's like, "Whatever." She's like, "You need to stop telling him to do all those things because it's not working." And Zach was like, "Okay, let's just say that I have talked to him. Why are you playing games with him? Like, why don't you just tell him how you feel?" And she's like, "He doesn't understand me." And he was like, "How does he understand you? You don't talk to him. You don't tell him anything. So what the hell is wrong with you? Basically, you're doing team too much. You need to have a conversation with this man and stop playing around with him, because if you keep on playing, you're going to end up losing him and you're going to die alone on your bullshit." Okay? So then he keeps saying, she was like, "Well, are you going to show me around?" And he's like, "Let's look at my brand new condo." I'm like, "What the hell are you, Oprah, giving away cars?" I don't understand what this whole situation is about, Zach, but you need to stop that. So moving on, Danny tells him she's proud of him before she walks, as she's walking around or whatever. And she says before she leaves, she's like, he says, well, she tells him she's proud of him. And before she walks out, she asks him how he feels about Karen having his baby. And he says, well, she had sex with me and the preacher at the same time, so we will figure it out. And he said, if it's mine, I'll be there. And Danny says, how does Fatima feel about it? And Zach says, you already know how she feels about it. You've talked to her. She's fine with it. And so Danny even says, well, you were having sex with Karen in her office just recently. He says, I love Karen, but I'm 1,000% done with her. And he says, I have a woman that makes me feel strong. Maybe one day you'll experience love like this. So Danny ends up leaving, which I don't understand why Zach's door is unlocked, because that broad was able to walk the hell right up in his damn place. And she tried to start the conversation with him about asking about Karen, which, you know, you didn't give a good goddamn about Karen and him, some police officers coming to get him arrested or whatever. You wanted to ask his ass about Preston. You should have just came on with it in the beginning. Stop fooling yourself, Danny. So moving on, Sabrina and Maurice chat about Calvin and Bayou. Maurice says, you're going to talk to Calvin. Are you going to talk to Calvin? Because he was mad about these flowers. First of all, we're not even going to go too deep into this because I don't give a damn about Calvin and what he thinks about these flowers. Calvin is a bitch. And he's another character that needs to move on. Please develop Sabrina's relationship life. Is she going to be with Calvin or not? Like, seriously. Calvin doesn't know what he wants to do with himself. He don't know if he want to be with men or women. And you can't tell me that this man is straight. He keeps on trying to say that he's straight, but he does all this questionable stuff. And then he gets all bent out of shape in situations with Sabrina when they're not even in a relationship. So you can't have possession over somebody, be possessive over somebody that you don't have possession of. It's just too much. And I'm so sick and tired of Calvin's character. I don't know what to do. So moving on, Sabrina's counting money and she asks Maurice to stay because she don't know if Q gonna come up in there and try to rob the damn place twice, child. Sorry, y'all. Your throat gets kind of dry doing these reviews. So she's like, you know what? I'm gonna need you to go ahead and stay here because you messing around with a fool. Are you gonna be messing with Q or not? And he was like, listen, he said he was gonna be at my house. I didn't say I was gonna let him in. I'm like, Maurice, we, we got to figure out what we're doing with Q. Because either y'all gonna be together, which is absolutely stupid. This man was basically going to kill you. He had you rob as an accessory to rob a bank. Like, please, Tyler Perry, find him somebody else because this ain't it. This ain't the story. So moving on, we get to the scene where in the next scene, Calvin lets Q in again, and they sitting down having dinner, and he done cooked Maurice's favorite dinner of mac and cheese, greens, and tells the story of mac and cheese, greens, and pork chops. Okay. So Calvin says he has a really good story, like his story, man. You got to listen to him. He's had a hard life or whatever. So he tells the story about his mom's boyfriend basically molesting him when he was a child, and he didn't know what was going on when the mom's boyfriend used to come in the room. But when he was older, he realized that this wasn't okay, and his mom didn't believe him. So I think this is similar to something that happened with Maurice in his life. So I think that they're going to basically create a relationship off of trauma, which we got to stop that. Like, listen, Q, I get it. You had some stuff going on in your life, but you needed to utilize that to become a better person, not to become a better thief. Okay. Because what you're doing in this moment to me is manipulating people into feeling sorry for you so that you can have a place to stay. That's what I'm getting out of this. And I hope that Maurice doesn't fall for the bullshit over a damn pork chop. So moving on. In the last scene, Zach comes into the office looking for Fatima because he's like, listen, I know good and goddamn well she ain't gonna not just answer my damn phone calls all day. Shit me. So she goes in there and he goes in there and he runs right into Andy. And Andy says, Fatima went to run an errand for me. She'll be back. And he says, I know you fucking lying because all day she running errands all day, Andy. She was like, no. Let me go. He was like, let me just go back here and see what's going on. So as he's going back there, here come Hayden, old bald headed ass, walking up talking shit. So he's like, oh yeah, I got your bitch locked up. I'm like, oh my God. Really? Really? This what you doing at your job? Starting shit. And I know they got cameras all up in there, so they have to see that you started it. Like you are hyping up the situation. So everything escalates. Hayden comes, he continues to antagonize Zach. Zach ends up picking his ass up and throwing him down the damn steps, child. And that's where the episode ends. Child, now Zach ass gonna be locked up because he's apparently on parole, and I mean on probation, and he can't be getting in the middle of some shit like this. So Hayden's going to get his wish of Zach being locked up. But I'm hoping and praying that he gets fired because I'm kind of sick of Hayden's character too. He doesn't really contribute much. And I'm just so tired of, like I said, all these extra characters on Sisters. Like, develop these people, Tyler. Develop the characters. Get rid of these characters that don't mean shit. Hayden, he started enough trouble. It's okay. The fatal attraction is over. Move on. We got Zatima coming. He can't be like this character. We've done enough with him. We've done enough with the Fuego character. We've done enough with airport security. Figure out what you're going to do with Preston and Danny. Calvin, I'm sick of too. I'm really sick of him. Please develop Maurice's character. I want to see more of him. But Q ain't the answer. It's just not. That's a dead situation. And with Andy, I want you to find some kind of resolve with her, Gary, damn London, and whoever the hell else she having some issue. Please. I'm just getting tired of it. Oh, we got some comments. I'm sick of them all when Tay talk. Girl, listen. I'm sick of all this shit too. I'm like, goodness gracious, Tyler, can you develop these damn characters already? Hayden, Q, Calvin, all can go. Listen, high five through the screen. Absolutely. I'm sick of all these Negroes, okay? The characters are just a waste of space. It's really a waste of space, honestly. And I want Tyler Perry to make this shit realistic. Calvin is not a realistic person that any female would date. Any straight female. Okay? We can't be wearing panties and humping the same dildos, sir. That's not what we about to be doing. You don't know you don't know yourself, so obviously you can't get to know me. Let her go on with Bayou. And I hope that he don't turn out to be a damn fraud. I don't know, child. But we're going to see what happens on Wednesday with this whole situation with Karen lying on her damn uterus, child, talking about this is Zach's baby, knowing good and goddamn well, which we ain't talk about. It could be Rico's baby. Okay. Y'all remember Rico in the beginning of, in season 1, she used to have sex with him. They were just sex partners, and he ended up saying he wanted to be more than sex partners. And she was like, no, I don't want that. And so he was like, okay, well, we can't do this anymore because I'm going to go ahead and get married. So I'm like, is it Rico's baby? Child. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to see as this develops. But anyway, thank you, everybody, for watching. Please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that's watching this show too. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.